Last night I was out and I was getting attention from most of the women in the bar because I was dressed well, tanned, in good shape, sorted my hair out, and I'm generally a decent looking bloke. So I thank the heavens for that. But handsome men don't always get the most girls, actually. It's not directly correlated to how good you look. In fact, a lot of handsome men struggle with women. Luckily, I'm not one of those men. But there are some nights I see it and I'm like, wait a second, I'm like the best looking guy in here. Why the fuck am I struggling? And this ugly dude over here, or these ugly dudes have all these girls on their table. There's many different factors that affect that, right? Sometimes it's the guys are paying for dinners, and so they've got all these girls on the table, a bunch of gold diggers. But the girls are always looking elsewhere. I mean, there was this table full of six girls and two guys, and they were like older guys. They obviously had some money. It was an expensive place, one of those nice places here in Bucharest. But the girls were looking at me because I was a young hotshot rolling around the club, right? It was more of a bar, actually. And I spoke to one of them. She was fucking knockout, super fit girl, but she looked like a gold digger. But I just wanted to sort of tease. I was in the vibe, I was in the mood, I was social, I was talking to people. You know, you want to be a social guy when you're in the club. You don't want to be that loser standing at the bar. Socialize, talk to people, be fun, be interesting. I got talking to her and she showed interest. And then both the guys turned around and looked at me. And I was like, shit, I don't want to be disrespectful. There is a level of bro code in clubs and in bars. If a girl is on a guy's table, you don't approach and you try and steal her, right? That's disrespectful, especially in Eastern Europe. You do that to the wrong motherfucker in Eastern Europe or in Russia, you'll get your ass beaten down. Bit different in America. In America, you can talk to the girls and the guys are actually a little bit friendly with you. They're like, oh, what's up, dude? How are you? You know, so they're cool. So it's a very different atmosphere. So you got to have dynamic game depending on where you are. But anyway, the two guys looked at me and I was like, wow, man, you got all these girls. What am I doing wrong? And he was like, yes, we have three girlfriends each. One, three, I have three, and he also has three. I was like, wow, bro, I need to learn from you guys, man. Amazing. Listen, have a good night. Gave him a handshake and I walked off respectfully. But the key thing I wanted to discuss that most men fail with on a night out, and this isn't necessarily just to do with like your looks or your money. It doesn't matter if you got looks and money, right? Some men have it all and still fail on nights out. And I came across some fucking gorgeous girls last night. I mean, it's Bucharest, Romania. You're going to get a bunch of gorgeous girls. And I fucked up, actually, with two of them. At least I still tried, right? So the key is that you want to be approaching either way. If you don't approach, then you'll regret it. So the times that I didn't approach were the times that I regretted it. I was like, man, why didn't I walk up to her? My vibe was good, my energy was okay, but it just wasn't the right situation and scenario. So there's something to be learned from. And and you got to think, like, I'm a master at this shit. I've been doing this shit since I was 16. I don't know many other men on the planet that are as good of a seducer and as good as coming up with conversation and openers and vibes that I am. And I've been around the world. But sometimes you just might not win, right? So I walked up to this banger, tall, 6 foot, unbelievable, caught her eyes. But it was the end of the night. And she was tired and she was like, oh, my Uber's outside. Sorry, I can't really talk right now. And so I'm trying to win it back over at this point. I'm like, yeah, no, it's all good. That's fine. I know you're going to leave, but I just wanted to say hi before you left. I thought you were cute. I wanted to introduce myself. How was your night going? She just wasn't really in the mood from the offset of the conversation. So the moment I started talking to her, she just wasn't really in the vibe. So no matter what I have said, if I was trying to come up with lines, and it's not necessarily always in your control, right? In a bar or in a club, you have to realize that the game and the outcome is not always in your control. So being there and trying is one thing, getting results is another thing. Maybe I walked up to these girls too late in the evening, or this particular one, which I liked. I walked up to 3 girls last night, and actually I didn't have success with either of them. The third one had a boyfriend. The first one I'd met beforehand and had a bit of a chat, but her and her friend were being like those kind of typical Eastern European attitude girls where they just didn't want to talk to anyone. I noticed other guys, tall, handsome, wealthy guys, like walking up to them, and they just gave them zero attention. They were just on their phone the whole evening. So every situation is very contextual and situational, right? So in that instance, you can't get pissed off at yourself. You're like, all right, she's just in that mood. It's all good. She's not down for it. Okay, it's a girl. She's got emotions. Like, she's up and down. Sometimes she's feeling it, sometimes she's not. It's not always your fault, bro. It's not because you've got a bad hairline or you've got bad chat all the time. So stop putting the blame on yourself every single time. I'm not going to be like, oh, it must just be me. It must be me. No, it ain't fucking me. Like, I was dressed to the nines with a bad boy watch, with an English accent, with money, looking better than anyone else in the whole damn bar. And maybe this girl's just not in the mood. Maybe my first line wasn't so great. Maybe my vibe wasn't on point. You know, maybe the universe just wasn't down to synchronize with me at that point. So that's kind of how you have to think about it. You can't put that much pressure on yourself. But what you should do is you should aim for small tweaks and small improvements. So for example, I started thinking to myself, you know what, maybe I need a better opening line around here. You know, maybe because I speak good English and they don't, there's a bit of a miscommunication. So maybe I can come up with something a little bit different. Or maybe I should have just been dancing a little bit more and then dancing near them and just dancing around them and then talking later, rather than approaching girls in loud music and trying to talk to them. That was a bit of an amateur error, for example. So despite being a master at stuff, even I make mistakes. Even I'll make an amateur error, like try to talk to her when the music's blasting and people around us are dancing. She don't want to talk. She just wants to have a good time and dance around. So, you know, even I'm still learning lessons. No one can tell you, I know it all. I can guarantee give you the answers. I aim to teach you the basics and the mindset, like how you're supposed to think. Because if I'm not successful one night, you're damn sure I'm going to be successful the next night. Because I'm back out there and I'm trying again and I'm not getting disheartened by it. And I'm trying to tweak small improvements. I'm always trying to tweak small improvements, getting better each day, that 1% improvement. You're not going to go from some loser guy who gets no girls to all of a sudden some Lothario who's seducing mad girls. It's a long journey. It's a lot to experience. It's a fucking fun journey. And it's also a game of social dynamics. Get better socially and you'll get better with girls. The more you're out there, the more you're vibing, the more it just seems to come to you. I don't stress it. I don't really try that hard. When I go out, I'm vibing. If I'm feeling good and it just clicks, it just clicks. But don't always, the point of this video is it's not always in your control. So just let go of the outcome. Let go of the outcome and just go out there and have a bit of fun and try and talk. And look as best as you can, obviously. You do want to be a handsome male, of course you do, who's got his shit together and who's dressed well and grooming. That goes without saying. But it's not always in your control. Sometimes it's just not in her vibe. She's not really feeling it. She's having a bad day. She's on her phone, blah, blah, blah. She's not down. You maybe said the wrong line. You maybe delivered it wrong. Oh, well, it failed. On to the next one. Keep going, my G's. Eventually, you will win.